right. Well, the first thing I would like to address is what I believe was a misunderstanding in our initial claim. The negative stated that we referred to credit card payments, loan payments, car payments. When we mentioned those, we were saying that we were referencing the average monthly loan payment for students across the United States. And we were making the point, I believe that number is $322. We were making the point that that amount is paid in addition to the other debts and costs that are accumulated over your life. So we were making the point that that because of student loans, people have this extra amount that they have to pay that takes a percentage out of their paycheck in addition to all other debts, day-to-day life costs and such. Now, moving on to the negative sides claims about the FAFSA and the issues with financial aid in the United States. It is true that there are a significant amount of financial aid institutions in the United States attempting to help all students pay for college. However, the fact of the matter is that in terms of federal grant programs, in particular the Pell Grant, as a result of students having that additional money to pay for college, it encourages them to go on to get higher degrees. Say, for example, instead of getting a bachelor's, you go on to get a master's or a graduate's degree. And while that is absolutely what should happen, it allows people to go further on their own dollar. It also means that 88% of graduates who received Pell Grants had student loans in 2012 with an average balance of $31,000. 53% of those who didn't receive Pell Grants had student loan debt borrowing at an average of $26,000, which is a little over $4,000 less than those who received Pell Grants. Now that comes from the article Student Loan Debt Statistics for 2019 from Student Loan Hero, which is a website run by LendingTree, and that was published in February of 2019. So, yes, we do have federal grants. They help students get into college, but they are not helping with the issue of loans. From Oded Gortez and Eric Bettinger in their April 2019 article for Brookings, titled Evidence from California on the Long-Run Benefits of Financial Aid, they stated that financial aid led to positive long-term impacts on obtaining both bachelor's and graduate degrees, and for some students raised longer-run annual earnings and the likelihood that they resided in California. However, students with the lowest income and GPA were 10% more likely to earn a bachelor's degree. This is not due to increases in college enrollment, but rather that aid reduced the likelihood that the students dropped out along the way. In addition to this, students were 25% more likely to earn a graduate degree. As a result, earnings were 3 to 4% higher than the ages of 28 to 32. This adds to the argument that financial aid helps students get through college. It helps them get more educated. It also means they end up with more loans. From, again, the student debt relief that I referenced, student debt relief from LendingTree. Student aid is not enough to help. Today, a federal Pell Grant covers only about 30% of the average cost of going to a public four-year college or university. In 1973, it covered 75% of the cost. In particular, I would like to talk about the fact that the FAFSA calculates according to income necessity, so enrollment, estimated family contribution, and cost of attendance. And I'd like to offer a personal example. So I am a first-generation student. I had an EFC of 0. I still had to take out a loan this year. So yes, the FAFSA is absolutely helpful. It's not helping with the fact that students have an enormous amount of debt. In particular, nationwide, this is for both public and private universities, The current amount of student loan debt is $1.56 trillion. That's 4.47 million Americans with student loan debt. 11.5% of student loans are 90 days in default, which means that their loans are becoming more expensive. And that again comes from the US student loan debt statistics for 2019. Now finally, I would like to address the fact that by making public colleges free, it will raise taxes. Now, my partner mentioned that we suggest using Senator Warren's plan to, as she puts it, create an ultra-millionaire tax. This would be a 2% annual tax on individuals who are worth $50 million or more over, this would be an annual tax, and over a period of 10 years, this would generate, I'm sorry, I didn't grab the correct note. I believe it's a little over $2 trillion over the course of 10 years. This would not only cover the $1.56 trillion in student loan debt that would allow for us to begin forgiving student loan debt and allow graduates to be able to become more active in the economy and be able to improve their social status and quality of life. It would also help fund making colleges free. Finally, I would like to end with the fact that the issues with finally, I'd like to quickly address the evidence that the negative provided on the Education Trust, where none of their 15 programs qualified for their criteria in terms of helping students pay for college. I would submit that that actually aids in our argument, as clearly the current systems in the United States are not sufficient to help the current student debt crisis. Thank you.